Quite a few injuries to go through first, I guess. First on Ben House, will he play with protection, or with it being the last game in the league before the break, you're just going to let it heal normally?
Well, there's two issues. There's the broken nose, which seems like it's recovering well, and there's concussion as well. So he's going through concussion protocols at the minute. So there's two things that have to align there. So I think he's going to be out for this weekend. It's just a bit too early, we think.
And Zach Geacock was also concussion protocols. How's he getting on?
Yeah, he's getting on okay. He's following the protocols well, so he should be. Again, still have to follow the days that we need. I can't remember what days he's into, but he's coming back well through the protocols.
Ethan Hamilton, I think he's getting quite close, isn't he, to a return?
Yeah, Ethan Hamilton's in. He's been on the grass a couple of weeks. He's looking good. He's in contention for selection this weekend. Could not do 90, but he could potentially make the bench. If not, probably looking into Tuesday for Ethan.
And is it just with the injury that he had, just really carefully managing his minutes coming back?
Yeah, Ethan's been phenomenal through the recovery process and the rehab with the rehab team, and all the staff have worked him really hard. But because of the injury he had, it's making sure that we don't go too hard too early. So he's been on the grass, he's met his markers, he's good to go. And then again, we need to just build him up through match minutes as well. But he's been chomping at the bit for a couple of weeks. If you know Ethan, he's all heart, and he wants to get out there. So in some ways, we just have to keep the reins on him to make sure. The last thing we want him is to do the same thing again, and that'd be season over for him. So yeah, he's good to go. He's raring to go. Should be in contention this weekend.
And finally, Rico Hackett, how's he getting on?
Yeah, Rico the same. Rico's back training with the group this week. So again, he's probably more likely this weekend or Tuesday, more likely. Similar situation. So Hamo and him have both come up at the same point. Hopefully no more setbacks. A different situation for Rico because he's had a couple of setbacks, and we just want to make sure he's still good to go as well.
Is his recovery at the moment from the shoulder, or is it from the setbacks?
Bit of the setbacks really, and then a little bit of niggles in training, or a little bit of markers and niggles, but he's fine. He's getting there. Like I say, both of them are close now, which is really, really good.
And it will be able to, I guess, after that Grimsby game, you'll be able to work with Rico a lot more and work with Ethan a lot more to build up those minutes ahead of the return after internationals. Yeah,
both, and the plan is always Rico going out to the internationals as well. So I think the plan for them has always been this weekend to be selection, if not this weekend, Tuesday, and then after that they should be fully selection. But again, it's getting there won't be 90s into them for probably a month before we see that, until they have to build it up. Similar to Conor McGrandles, that's come back over time. We've had to manage him back, who's done great since he's come back, and touchwood, we're keeping him fit as well.
Yeah, and on Rico, if he goes away to internationals, it's difficult for you to try and manage his minutes while he's out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult, but that's part of the plan. That's part of what we want. If he does manage to get there, then it's a great thing. If not, it's always difficult to manage individuals. With Sean when he's away, and because you can't say to people don't play X when it's international duty. So, but I think it's great that the club gets call-ups. I think it's fantastic that JJ, Sean, Rico, whoever gets the call-ups. I think it's great on the club. Having been there in a role with the national associations as well, I know that you try and look after players as well, because the last thing you want to do as a national coach is upset clubs, because clubs are the lifeblood of the national teams.
Heading into this weekend, then it's important that you build on what happened in the last minute on Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah, I think when we had the chat, I said it's a great way to get a point. I thought the character of the group was fantastic. I loved the way they went after the game with 10 men, and we tried to push the game, and I think in the end, point was fair, even though I thought they were better than us first half. I didn't think we were good enough first half. I didn't think we were aggressive as we usually are first half. But credit to them, they're a really good team. They have some really big threats. They're really experienced at the level. They're really well set up, and they can hurt you. So I just thought it took us a bit of time to get going. But again, the second half, I thought we came out well. We looked more like ourselves up until the sending off. And then after the sending off, things happen and we have to push. But yeah, I think it's brilliant. When you're not at your best, if you like, and come away with a point at those places, I think it's a really good show of character.
And over the past week as well, all the goals have come from substitutes, and you want that, don't you? You want your subs pushing those players in the 11 to try and win a place.
Yeah, I believe, and I talk to the lads about it a lot, it might be a cliche, I don't think the game's 11v11 anymore. I think the game's 17 versus 17, and if you want to play in a certain way, they have to impact, and it doesn't matter whether it's 30, 10, 45, they have to go and impact the game. And not just impact, but carry on what the lads have been doing for the first half or however long minutes they're taking over for. And but that's why it's important to have depth. That's why it's important to have a good group. The group are really good at supporting each other, whether they're in the team or out of the team. What they will do is want their mate to do well, and I think that's what the character you see behind the scenes with the team coming on. So if one person's not in the starting 11 or in the squad, they all support it, and you see that in training every day. We drive that in training every day. It's got to be a squad game. It's got to be everyone chipping in. So it's really pleasing when, like you say, when everyone chips in. Or you have to have one player that does it all. I think we're better off doing it our way.
The games between Lincoln and Orient last year, very narrow games, wasn't a lot in that. Do you expect it to be the same this weekend?
I expect it to be exactly the same. They're a good team. They press high. They want to dominate the ball. They're aggressive. I don't see any different really. I think they've started okay, and they'll start moving up the league as they go. But yeah, for sure they'll be a strong team, and we've got to be on it. And I think at home we want to take the game to them, as always, try and get the 3 points. And as much as we got a point and a great point at the end, it's we wanted 3 points, so we've got to go after the 3 points.
And I guess we talk a lot about how good the away form is. It's just trying to find that key at home now, isn't it, to get consistency in terms of victories in particular?
Yeah, I think there's a few parts to it. Teams set up a little bit differently, but yeah, we definitely want to start taking our away form into our home form and making sure that we are good in all areas, and away at home, whatever it might be. But first and foremost, we have to look after our job and see if we can turn over Leyton Orient.